So here we have a token called Pendle. Now, looking at this chart, we can chart out the levels and see where we can trade this and where we can potentially make some money on it. So as usual, we start with putting a line up here, a green line, to signify our all-time high. And for some reason my text is in black, so I will make that white. And down here we have a red line for our all-time low. So put that down there. Right, so again, looking for levels. There's a really interesting level there with 3 candle closes. 4 actually if we go across, but 3 next to each other. So we will put that. We will get that level there. There's another one here that's we'll put that in. And I think the final one on the monthly is there. There's a monthly level down here actually as well. Right, and so as usual, we type in monthly. Where here we type in monthly. Right, and so we then drop down to the weekly, and if we zoom out, what can we see on the weekly? So I think where we have our levels here, I think we can have a play around with them. So I think that's a really interesting one there that encapsulates that. This one here, what do we see about this one here? I think putting that there, that gives us 3 levels that are quite close. Here's a really interesting weekly level. As we can see, that is the impulse. There's another one slightly below it, but those two are probably a bit too close. We have a very interesting one, if I click there. Really, really interesting one here. This is the reversal pivot. And this one actually, I'll put one in here. So we've got 3 that are relatively close together. However, obviously this middle one is really important because that's an impulse one. So I will put weekly. I will click here on weekly, and here again, weekly. What else can we see? There's a really nice weekly level there. There's a really nice weekly level here. And I think that's it for certainly the top end. So if I click weekly, yeah, I mean there's one in the middle of the range here. Actually, I kind of prefer this one a little bit higher, so we'll go for that one. If I click, we'll go for that one there. So weekly. And then there's a few down here, but I think these are less relevant, so we'll just put the one in there where we can see that this gained, held, and then went. So that, I think that's quite a key level down there, but price is a little bit off. So got those levels. We can see really pumping up from these levels here. So how do we look at this then? If we go into the daily, where do we sit on the daily? So we can see we have gained some levels, a wick down. So I think on this one we can see quite a lot of potential upside here with very little in. I think probably we'll have a look at where we may get some volume on this ticker. So if I click on our trusty FRVP and I swipe this all the way across to here, so where are we likely to see some action? So we can see this area here is is a lot. So if I put a box over, actually I realized I need to go settings, extend right. There we are. So we can see we have that box there. I'm going to put a little box here, as that may be quite a good zone to take profits in. We've got a really strong volume line there, so I will make that purple. And again, look at the amount of volume that's around this weekly level. So if we get that, this is an interesting point for a potential back test. What have we got? There's some volume around here, and then I think we see it sort of very little volume here. So I will we'll capture this bit as well. Actually, that's an interesting area, and we'll put a box around this here, and we'll put a little box around here if we ever get there. Maybe a little box around this level as well down here, just as an area to look at. Right, so if we take this off, so what does this leave us with? So we can see this is currently in quite a high volume area, so expect it to chop around this weekly level. There's not a huge amount down here, so we may get, with this volume here, if we do retrace and lose this level, we may get a bounce around this 3, 4, 6. So if we go on to the we'll go on to the 4 hour and see where, yeah, so you can see this area here is where we had this previous range here before we gained the weekly, went up, we're holding. So I think on this, what I would be looking at is I would be looking at a retest of this weekly level. If it holds this weekly level and begins to show some strength, I think you can probably look to take some profits up in this sort of $6 to $6.20 region. If we lose this level, I think we would go down. We would potentially test this weekly level, and if we lose this level, you're then looking for a reaction around these levels here. Fail to do that, and I think we go back into this zone of accumulation. So yeah, interesting ticker. If we go back out to the daily to show where we're at. So yeah, plenty of opportunities on this. I think, yeah, interesting. If we put on some, we'll put on some rays to show the liquidity wicks. So you've got one there that I will make grey, and we've got another one there. There's one side, and then you're looking at all-time high. So yeah, interesting ticker.